What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video on Ethanos' channel. So, I don't know if it was obvious, but I'm kind of a fan of Iron Maiden. So what I thought I would do is I would take the time to show what kind of fan I am or how much of a fan I am by ranking all of their albums. So this video here is going to be part 1 out of 2, so if you want to see part 2, I'll put the video at the end of this video and I'll probably also put it in the description. So before I start ranking, I guarantee you at least one thing that I say is you're gonna think is controversial as fuck. So if you disagree with my list, just be sure to comment down your own. So we got every single Iron Maiden album here, all the way from the self-titled to Senjutsu. So we're gonna start with the self-titled. So here is the 1998 remastering track list for the self-titled album. Start with Prowler. Prowler's a really good fucking opener. It's really simple, but like the self-titled it's just simple. Sanctuary is also kind of simple, but it's not as good as Prowler in my opinion. Remember Tomorrow is good, still not as good as Prowler. I feel like a song that sounds like Running Free was just inevitable to exist. Like it was bound to happen sometime eventually, and it just happened there. I'm running free, yeah. I'm running free. So I think like Running Free, I don't know, it just doesn't feel that exciting to me. But Phantom of the Opera does. Transylvania is the best fucking song on the album. Phantom of the Opera is probably second, but nothing beats Transylvania on this album. I also like Strange World. Charlotte the Harlot's basically just like Sanctuary, but like even a bit less interesting. And then the title track, I feel like with Paul Di'Anno, it doesn't really sound as good as with Bruce. But we are not ranking live versions because the live versions aren't on this album, only the studio versions are. But overall, I would give the self-titled B tier. I think it's a solid album. So next up we have Killers. So if you look at the 1998 remastered version, The Ides of March is a fucking good opener. The Ides of March doesn't really feel like the first song on the album, but it does its job very well as an opening track. It's such a fucking good hook for the album. And then when it gets into Wrathchild, such a fucking good song. Same thing with Murders in the Rue Morgue, Another Life. Some of the other songs are fucking great. Killers, Prodigal Son, Purgatory, Twilight Zone Drifter. The only problems I really have with this album are Genghis Khan and Innocent Exile, but they're not really that bad. They still fit the old school punk vibe that Iron Maiden was back then, so I'll still give them a pass. By the way, I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with me when I say that I like Killers more than the self-titled, but I like Killers more than the self-titled. Killers goes in fucking A tier. Next up, the first album they did with Bruce Dickinson, Number of the Beast. Invaders is such an underrated opening. I don't know, some people don't really like Invaders, but like, I like Invaders. Children of the Damned is quite possibly the best song on the album. It could also be The Prisoner, or it could be Hallowed Be Thy Name, but most of these songs are fucking great. The only problems I really have with the album are Gangland and Total Eclipse, but Total Eclipse was originally on a single, so if you're just listening to the original release, Total Eclipse won't be on it. So really the only problem I have is Gangland. Gangland I feel like is just a kind of a boring song. It's not really that bad. Now here is where I'm probably going to piss some people off. I am going to put Number of the Beast below Killers. I just think Killers is a better album overall. Number of the Beast is still fucking good. It's still fucking A tier. But I just think Killers is better overall. Next up, Peace of Mind. Alright, so I'm gonna have to look at the side 1 and side 2 in the original release because there's no remastered version for this album. Where Eagles Dare is a good fucking opening. Flight of Icarus is a good song. Die With Your Boots On. The Trooper is fucking amazing. Still Life, I fucking love that song too. To Tame a Land is the best song on the album. I know that's just like a lot of people are just gonna either say like maybe The Trooper or Revelations or Flight of Icarus, but I think it's To Tame a Land. Now, this album still has some fucking problems. Okay, Revelations, I feel like Revelations is completely good live. It's really good live. But I feel like the studio version is just way too slow. Quest for Fire is just a boring song, and Sun and Steel isn't a bad song, but it's just, I guess it's just like a bit too happy, I guess. I don't know how you would say it. But Sun and Steel isn't a bad song. Sun and Steel does also just feel kind of filler. That isn't always a bad thing. It just feels like it wasn't written to be mainstream. It was just written to kind of fill the album. Now, I'm gonna put Peace of Mind in B tier, but I'm gonna put it above the self-titled. So next up, Power Slave. Okay, now I just realized this, but side 1 has 5 songs and side 2 only has 3. Although I suppose side 2 does have Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which I guess that's understandable. Aces High is the best opening track that Iron Maiden has ever done. Out of all their albums, Aces High is the best one. 2 Minutes to Midnight does feel simple, but it still does its job well. Lost for Words is a song that, like, some parts of it just bored me, but some parts I liked. Flash of the Blade, I feel like the chorus could be a bit better. The beginning of it hooks you well, but I feel like the chorus could be a bit better. The Duelists, I can't think of any moment where Bruce is really sang higher than the chorus in The Duelists. I guess that really makes me like The Duelists. It's just the main reason I like The Duelists is because of how high Bruce goes in it. When I first heard Back in the Village, I was fucking blown away with it because, I don't know, just because of how fast it was, and I had never heard Iron Maiden do, like, true pinch harmonics until I heard that one bit in the intro to Back in the Village. Power Slave, we all know Power Slave is a fucking great song. Same thing with Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, just a fucking great song. So where am I putting Power Slave? I am putting Power Slave in the A tier. I'm still putting it below Beast though. Now, Somewhere in Time. Caught Somewhere in Time is such a good fucking opening. Wasted Years, it has such a good hook in the intro, and the chorus is just really catchy. Sea of Madness is such a good song. Heaven Can Wait is still probably my least favorite song on the album, but it's still fucking good. Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner is my favorite song on the album, just because of how much the lead guitars do and the amount of key changes that are in the song. Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner is top 5 favorite Iron Maiden songs for me. Stranger in a Strange Land, fucking amazing. I kind of felt a bit scared to admit that I liked Deja Vu just because, I don't know, it felt kind of happy. But over time, I listened to a lot more songs in general that were in F minor, and I just fell in love with F minor, so I'm like, oh, that's why I like Deja Vu. It's such a fucking good song. It's just got that emotion that F minor has. If you like stuff in F minor, check out In Flames. Just check out the song Moonshield. Moonshield is such a fucking good song by him. And then Alexander the Great. We all know Alexander the Great is good. We all want to hear it live. Maybe we'll get it live in the Somewhere in Time tour that's coming out this year. But you may have noticed that I didn't say that a single song I disliked on the album. That's because Somewhere in Time is an S tier album. It's just a fucking perfect album. Now next up, we have Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Now I know what you're thinking, Somewhere in Time, you said so much positive stuff about Somewhere in Time. There's no way they could make a better album than Somewhere in Time, right? You would be wrong. Moonchild, such a good fucking opening. Infinite Dreams, the emotion it has, god damn it. Can I Play with Madness? It feels like basically the wasted years of this album. It's a song that's more about the feeling of the song rather than the complexities, but it still does its job very well. The Evil That Men Do, probably my favorite on this album, and my favorite Iron Maiden song ever, alongside Infinite Dreams. Both those songs are just fucking amazing. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, you know, the longer stuff. I've said the longer stuff was good, like To Tame the Land, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, Alexander the Great. I said all good stuff about those songs. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is no different. The Prophecy is probably the song that took the longest to grow on me, but like I fall in love with how much key changes there are. When it goes into that first E minor bit in the song, I get chills for whatever fucking reason. The Clairvoyant's a good fucking song, and then Only the Good Die Young. It's another song that has a section in F minor, which I've already mentioned how I feel about F minor. This album is going in S tier, above Somewhere in Time. Such a fucking good album. Now, No Prayer for the Dying. Now, I know what you're thinking. You can't have an album that's better than fucking Seventh Son, can you? You would be correct. No Prayer for the Dying was like a big step down compared to Seventh Son and Somewhere in Time, and even the other stuff like Power Slave and Beast. Tailgunner was an alright opening. It wasn't fucking Aces High, but it was alright. Holy Smoke and the title track I feel like are the two big standouts of the album. Everything else is just kind of like, it's decent, except fucking Assassin. I was so disappointed in the Assassin because it started off well. I felt it could go somewhere, and then it just gave me the most fucking boring and underwhelming chorus I've ever heard from Iron Maiden. Jesus, that chorus is so fucking awful. I wish it had more power to it. In And also, why is Mother Russia the last track on the album? Mother Russia doesn't really feel like an ending track. I feel like it would have made a lot more sense if they put Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter as the last track. But overall, it's still a solid album. I think this is a B tier album. I don't think it's as good as Maiden though. And then the last album I'm gonna do in this video is Fear of the Dark. Now the crazy thing about Fear of the Dark is that it's basically the same style as No Prayer for the Dying was, but my opinions on those two albums are just very differing. Because like No Prayer for the Dying, I feel like it was just flat mostly. But then Fear of the Dark, I feel like it's just big spikes between like and dislike. Like Be Quick or Be Dead, same thing as Tail Gunner. It's like it's an alright opening. I feel like Tail Gunner is better. From Here to Eternity, that's a fucking good song. Afraid to Shoot Strangers, that's a fucking fantastic song. Fear is the Key is alright. The Emotion in Childhood's End. Wasting Love, again, another fucking good one. I think The Fugitive's alright. Chains of Misery, it's another good fucking anthem, like From Here to Eternity. The Apparition, most boring Maiden song I remember. Weekend Warrior also fucking sucks. Judas Be My God is good. Fear of the Dark. Now, here's where I'm gonna piss some people off. Fear of the Dark's studio version is not that great. The only bit I actually enjoy from the studio version is the solo section. The Fear of the Dark live is fucking amazing, but remember, we're not rating the live versions. So I've gotta give this album what it deserves. I'm gonna give it a B. I might put it here. It's got good fucking tracks. I don't think it's as balanced and as good as Peace of Mind is. Jeez, it feels crazy that an album has some of my favorite songs of all time, such as Childhood's End, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, From Here to Eternity, Chains of Misery, mainly those, and Wasting Love. But like, when you think about The Apparition, Weekend Warrior, it just does feel right then. But this is where I'm gonna finish up for today. So if you enjoyed this and want to see more, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you see more stuff like this, and just more stuff in like other categories. I do a whole variety of stuff. If you want to see a band, you want to see my opinions on a band, tier list maybe, comment down below which band you want me to see. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Cause my name across your town when I sing. I got inside before the